My name is Dr. Boaz Waswa. I am working at the Alliance of Biodiversity International in SEAT. At the same time, I'm a chair of the Conservation Agriculture Kenya. Conservation Agriculture Kenya hub is a partnership. It brings together various organizations that work on conservation agriculture in Kenya, and the purpose is to scale conservation agriculture in the country. Conservation agriculture is not a new practice. In essence, when you look at the practices that are adopted or are considered as part of conservation agriculture, they are the things that we do on a regular basis. But what is lacking at the moment is the consistency with which we do those things in a bundled way and looking at the outcomes. So if we look at the history of conservation agriculture, it dates back into the early 80s, when there have been various programs that have tried to bring these practices together as a bundle. When we look at a country, our adoption is quite low. We have approximately 30,000 farmers who are practicing conservation agriculture. This could be old statistics, but it just tells us that we are very few farmers, approximately 1% of farmers practicing real conservation agriculture. But we need to grow this number so that it can be bigger and so that we can see the benefit. And so the target of the partnership that we have today is to see how we can increase the number of farmers practicing conservation agriculture from as low as 30,000 to 1 million farmers over the next 5 years into 2030, and grow that number and make it a habit, a practice of what we do daily. Because when we do that, then we can be assured that our farming system will be sustained. We have various strategies that can be used to raise the numbers of farmers that are adopting that. One is to coordinate the effort that is out there on conservation agriculture. We see so many organizations doing conservation agriculture, so the network is bringing together all these actors to come together, to learn together, to share good experiences and bring out the cases so that many other farmers out there can learn and adopt. The second thing is to make sure that there is a doing, learning by doing, encouraging more practice and learning of these technologies in the various regions through demonstrations, farmer awareness sessions, media communication, and making sure that this information is out there, and emphasizing on the benefits of conservation agriculture, not necessarily the practices themselves. We need to look at the benefits that come with conservation agriculture. If it is productivity, let us look and say, how can conservation agriculture help us to increase productivity? How can conservation agriculture help us to improve water storage in the soil so that this water can be used even when there is drought, there is stability of yield? How can conservation agriculture help us to conserve more biodiversity and healthier soils? And we can see the benefits associated with healthy soils. And then the other major thing that we need to do, because mechanization is a key component of conservation agriculture, is supporting the value chain around mechanization. How can we create mechanization service providers that will enable targeting smallholder farmers, medium-scale farmers, and large-scale farmers, so that this mechanization can come in to support the CA activities that we have in the different regions. And lastly, we are also looking at coordinating various policy issues so that this is mainstreamed within the policy of the country, so that we have at county level, we also have it at national level, that we are integrating these sustainable farming practices, conservation agriculture being one of them.
Conservation agriculture is one of the pillars of addressing soil fertility, in addition to all the others. And towards that end, the country held the National Conservation Agriculture Conference in the year 2019, and were able to meet the stakeholders. And together, we looked at what was needed, we got a lot of inputs, and we continued doing the research. I'm happy to report that in 2023, we were able now to bring all that discussion into a policy document, which we now call the Soil Fertility Policy of the Republic of Kenya. And so the government is actually at the forefront in spearheading soil fertility, whereby conservation agriculture is one of the aspects that will be able to address this. And I think that is where we are. And for this now symposium that we have, Yes. Again, in the organization of this one together, we have done it in collaboration with all the stakeholders who are present here. And we are happy to see that actually our participation is so high. And from the confessions that farmers have actually been able to do here, then we know that it is picking up, it is profitable, it is going to be well. And what we think we need to do now is upscale what we have seen and what we have witnessed, so that other farmers can benefit from the skills that have emerged in this symposium.
We have only about 1.5% of the area under CA in the world. In the world, we have about 200 million hectares. But in Africa, we only have 3.4 million hectares. And cascading to Kenya, we only have 30,000 hectares. But in terms of percentages, worldwide, we have 15% of the cropped area is under CA. In Africa, it is 3.3%. In Kenya, it is less than 1% of the farmed area is under conservation agriculture. Conservation agriculture has not been mainstreamed. It has not been accepted by the policy makers as the technology that has the potential to transform agriculture. And secondly, the benefits of the technology have not percolated to the people who invest in agriculture. And the people who invest in agriculture, besides the smallholder farmers, we have, of course, the large-scale farmers, but mainly the bigger investors are those in the business. So those in the business of conservation agriculture equipment, conservation agriculture inputs have not yet seen the opportunity, or they have not appreciated the demand for the conservation agriculture. So we need to create the demand for conservation agriculture. It's by demonstrating that this technology works. And I think not-for-profit organizations together with FAO have over the years demonstrated that. So the proof of concept is there. What is remaining now is farmers have challenges which cannot be solved by the not-for-profit organizations. We need to bring on board other key stakeholders. We need to bring on board the people who are manufacturing equipment, machinery, so that when we say conservation agriculture, you don't plow, farmers should know where to get the no-till equipment. When we are saying you can produce more with conservation agriculture, farmers should know where will they sell this surplus produce. Because if they produce and then they cannot sell, they will be discouraged. So the aggregators, the processors, they need to see that as a business opportunity for them to pull the technology. So we have done a lot of technology push. Now it's time to bring on board the private sector, off-takers, processors, aggregators, to see how they can support farmers to produce more profitably with conservation agriculture, so that it becomes a win-win for them to get more produce that is produced cheaply, which means more money for the farmers. Governments are pressured with so many things. They would have the desire to give the support, but they need the evidence. They need the proof that what we are mentioning really works, particularly when it's something new and something transformative like conservation agriculture. Because all over people were taught in school how to plow and how to harrow. All of a sudden we are telling them stop. No more plowing, no more harrowing. There is a better technology. So governments need the scientific evidence. And that evidence should be the first step. Now we have some evidence. We might need more, but there is enough of it for governments to provide the needed support through policy support and so on.